concerns over coronavirus, well, they've created intense swings in financial markets. But I'm talking about greenbacks, the cash in your wallet. We touch it, we pass it between people. Some people even lick their fingers as they count it. Is that a problem?
Viewers from Plymouth to Grosse Pointe ask, can you get coronavirus from handling money? The answer is, we don't know, but it's worth thinking about. Since mid-February, the Bank of China has been either destroying bills or disinfecting their cash with ultraviolet light and high temperatures, then storing it for 7 to 14 days before re-releasing it back into the circulation. That is based on studies that have shown bacteria and viruses can survive on money. Now, there is no study that shows the COVID-19 virus can survive on cash. However, an unidentified representative from the World Health Organization reportedly told a British newspaper that cash could be contributing to the spread of COVID-19. Now, the U.S. Treasury has not made any statement on U.S. currency. Until this issue is properly studied, I would recommend a common sense approach. Where possible, use cashless options.
So with cash, it's a big deal if you're at a restaurant, for example, and then you're about to touch your food. So, consider having some hand sanitizer available there.
Hopefully people remember it used to be common sense that money is pretty dirty anyway.
It is disgusting.
Absolutely, and studies have shown it's definitely covered with all kinds of things you don't want.
I think I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need a computer.
First of all, we couldn't be more pleased that coming into the situation with the coronavirus, the U.S. has the most resilient economy in the world. You saw a very large economic jobs number last month, and we couldn't be more pleased that the president's economic programs of tax cuts, regulatory relief, and trade have put the economy in a very good position. I would also just say that I am in daily conversations with Chair Powell. We are committed, and we just had a meeting with the president and the economic team. The president is committed that whatever support we need to provide to the U.S. economy, we will use all our tools, working very closely with the regulators. The president has the bank CEOs coming in this week. We'll be talking to them about what they can do to help small businesses and companies that are impacted. So let me just again emphasize, our primary focus is there are parts of the economy that are going to be impacted, especially workers that need to be at home, hardworking people who are at home under quarantine or taking care of their family. We'll be working on a program to address that. We will also be working with small businesses who need liquidity through SBA programs. We're looking at alternatives at the IRS. We have large tax payments coming up of providing certain relief to companies and individuals for liquidity. So the president is 100% committed that we will provide whatever tools we need, that the economy will be in very good shape a year from now. This is not like the financial crisis where we don't know the end in sight. This is about providing proper tools and liquidity to get through the next few months.
Password enter. Welcome to BRT Online. Global Net selected.
In closing, let me note Jack Kemp's observation at that 1983 conference when he pointed out that any new system of formally maintained exchange rates among the world's currencies would need to choose a common reference point, an anchor. It could be a national currency like the US dollar. It could be a commodity like gold. Or it could be a supranational invention like the IMF special drawing right, the SDR. Bob Mundell gave his own view. He said, choosing a dollar standard would be like imposing English as a world language. Choosing the SDR, he said, would be like trying to impose Esperanto on the world trading community. Mundell said that a gold standard would be closer to the mark, in his words, given the significant gold holdings of central banks. Quoting Mundell, "If all countries agreed to convert their currencies into gold at an agreed price, gold could serve in lieu of the SDR, and the international gold standard would provide the world economy with a common currency," unquote. Let me just say that I believe U.S. leadership can and should play a strong role in helping to build a new, stable international monetary system to serve an open global marketplace dedicated to free trade and genuine competition. And if the next Bretton Woods conference takes place at Mar-a-Lago, great. Let's hope it's not too far in the future. Thank you.
So I think one of the big motivations for this new technology, right, because Agustin is asking why, is that there's huge financial exclusion, and these technologies have proven to increase financial inclusion enormously. So I think you have to look broadly around the world. I think this is one motivation, and I think the Ripple example is one example, and Norman has talked about that, is that international payments are very expensive, and the structure is not very well built.
So what does this get you? It gets you low fees because you're not paying for proof of work. You're not paying people to lock up a volatile asset. It gets you fast confirmations because you know who the consensus participant set is. You don't have to worry about someone mining in secret who releases a larger block, so you don't have to defend yourself against reorganizations. And it gets you real censorship resistance. There's no dictator of the moment. And that also means that you don't have to worry about whoever mines each block gaming the system. If you build a decentralized exchange, if you build a DeFi ecosystem, miners are your primary threat because they can test transactions at zero cost, find the transactions that most exploit the system and inject them, and they have no choice but to do it. And it's fine to say, okay, that's fine. They're following the rules. That's part of how the system works. But that isn't good for the natural stakeholders. Remember, the natural stakeholders want a level playing field. Miners having this power to game the system is not a level playing field. It's not a disaster. It doesn't make the system useless or non-viable, but we should accept that it's a bad thing. The XRP ledger has account management with managed multi-signing. Accounts are real things that have properties, so you can change the key on an account without changing your receiving address, which you can't do on most other systems. And we added payment channels for off-ledger scaling, so you can get much of the security of on-ledger payments with very, very high transaction per second rates because you're sort of giving someone a cryptographic receipt for funds that they can enforce on the ledger rather than performing a transaction on the ledger. So if you want to check it out and see what we built and how it works, go to xrpl.org.
But I can assure you the president is determined. We will do whatever we need. I think, the president is looking at a major stimulus package, whether it's through the payroll tax cut or whether it's through another means of delivering liquidity to hardworking Americans. We've announced what will be about $200 billion of liquidity through delaying IRS payments. So hardworking Americans who have tax payments due or small and medium-sized businesses can delay them. I can assure you we will use whatever tools we need to make sure that the industries that are impacted by this get through this. And I thought Barry said a lot of things that were right. This is a short-term issue. Maybe a couple of months, but we're going to get through this and the economy will be a little stronger than ever. I look back at people who bought stocks after the crash in 1987, people who bought stocks after the financial crisis. For long-term investors, this will be a great investment opportunity.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call.